Warning: the following video may have language that some viewers may find offensive, and others are already offended. Viewer discretion is advised, but not really. No animals were hurt in the making of this 4-hour feature film.
My name is Andrew Gough. I work with the London Police Service. I'm a sergeant there. Been seconded to the Ontario Police College as a use of force instructor for a good part of 3.5 years now. And with me is my service dog Riggs. And yeah, well, he's pretty much with me all the time. So I've been working with the London Police Service. I'm almost finished 21 years. So in July, I'll have 21 years. I think for myself, honestly, quite early in my career, probably around the age of 23, only having 3.5 years on, I started to notice I was treating people differently in my life, including myself. So, long time ago. I think ultimately, what has caused the worst of my symptoms related to this injury that I have is that accumulation of incidents in relation to our professions. What police officers see in their everyday lives, having been a soldier as well, I know that all of those days on deployment when I would get ready for the mission of the day felt exactly the same as getting ready to go out onto the road. And I tell you, on deployment, and I had far less incidents to deal with comparatively to what it's like to be a police officer on the street. Everything should be available to you. Equipment, mindset. And when you start dealing with those accumulated injuries or incidents that lead to your injury, every day you're a little bit worse. But you do nothing for the longest time, calling it just a part of the job, or seeing all those that have come before you that have experienced and displayed symptoms that, well, that's what happens to me. This is the life of a police officer. But it wasn't the life that I started the job out with. So it was definitely cumulative. Not to say that there weren't very specific moments that affect my memory. Those are the ones, though, that when you're going and jumping from call to call, that you never fully have closure to. Because you can be at a school dealing with something very innocent, very simple, hopefully, to deal with, to death and dealing with that trauma. Because it doesn't matter what it is, a death that involves emergency services is not without trauma. So, accumulative and specific. Post-diagnosis impact for me, it's kind of like just reading the end of a book that you wrote so you know the ending. Getting a diagnosis was just that last line, the end that you might see in a book. But that's why I call this, and you may have heard me refer to it already, as a journey. Because now, after receiving that diagnosis, it was like starting over again. I'm not talking about rebirth or being reborn, and I'm just saying that it gave me a reference point now to better understand what I was going through, and thankfully, there was enough people that cared about me in my life and had done some work on how to move people through this journey that I had a lot of support. Not without its challenges. I was still, I was an alcoholic. I needed to deal with a lot of those traumas, but I had a starting point. And it's still going on, and I'm, I think, 4 years post-diagnosis. I had a call with my psychiatrist today. I see a trauma therapist every 2 weeks. Coming in for this interview, I was a wreck because I don't live in the city, and having to come downtown, like, it was not a pleasant thing for me. But this is important. I don't get very good sleep. I have strained relationships with my family. But working on it is what's key, and understanding and education, in hopes that there's not too many people in the future sitting in a chair like this speaking to you. A lot of it came from the military side. And I say that, if you sort of can hear the tone of my voice there, I say that because I didn't feel comfortable going to the policing side, and some people might think that that's interesting. Why the military? They actually I think are doing a good job. I got support right away through my medical officer. He believed me, and that was huge. To have someone believe you, set it up for success right away. And he, put me on the path of medical supports. The military also has a dedicated clinic for operational stress injuries. And there's one right here in London, and they're phenomenal. On the policing side, I'm not saying that there isn't support. There is. But it's more, it doesn't seem to be as inviting. You can seek out your own care, which is great, but you don't know exactly what you're getting. You're only window shopping. Support from senior officers, I found, has been not universal, where some, as in the one that I first went to disclose my diagnosis, very supportive, and I felt doing their very best to navigate how to take care of somebody with this injury. To others that seem to almost make it a mission to have these people not return, so that they're no longer part of a problem. The biggest support that I've had has been my immediate family. It was probably it was my wife that recognized that I was at that critical point. Very, very sternly and with good intention and affection, told me that I needed to get help. And I promised her that day that I would do whatever I needed to do. And that has included so many different things. The support of, even my children as they have come to learn about what it is that I'm going through. And honestly, being public about it, it's been easier to have people understand, even as you work through the community. So it hasn't been awesome, but it's been okay. So the way I manage my injury now, it's definitely an approach from multiple angles. I never seem to get exactly what I need from just one thing. And some of the things that I had hesitation with, I now advocate for others to consider, such as, medication. For a lot of people, there's an aversion to want to take it, whether it's stigma or, there's side effects for sure. And it isn't always as sciencey as you might hope. Other things such as trauma therapy with, professionals. I've gone on PTSD retreats. That was, I think, honestly, one of the first large impacts I had to my getting better and moving through my journey. Being able to very loudly speak about what it is that has affected me. Learning that we don't measure our trauma. Just because something I have seen may be worse than what you believe you have seen, or the other way around. That makes no difference. It's how it affects us, which leads also into living without judgment. I find in the policing profession that this is one of the largest things that may prohibit us from getting help, is we always seem to be measuring ourselves. It's within the culture. Statistics, how many charges did you lay? And we're always measuring on the experience of our peers. So it helped me change my attitude, which has then allowed me to build up a great tribe of people that I trust in my life, which then compounds into learning all of the other things that can help manage, such as meditation, right? Such as my service dog here. I never would have thought of it if I hadn't have met a gentleman with a service dog, speak to him about how it's changed and affected his life, and then go through the process of getting rigs here on my own. And that's huge for me, because he comes with me everywhere. Quite honestly, I was going to end my life, and I was going to drive in front of a transport truck. And I have rigs with me all the time, especially when I'm driving, because it still pops into my mind sometimes, and I would never do that because I just love them so much. Yeah, sorry.
No, we're gonna go there.
Yeah. After I got home, when the drinking just became more than anyone around me should have put up with, including myself. I didn't get the same education that the young officers are getting now about mental health, and it's a good first step. The things that police officers do and what we see every day is not normal. And we will, and we have to, respond to things that no other person will. But you can, I do believe, build up some resiliency to it. We all know what to do. It's within us all. It's just a matter of recognizing that and taking steps to make sure it happens for yourself in your life. Oh, and get a good sleep. That's huge. VA, or Veterans and Everyday Heroes, we're definitely past the 1-year anniversary of me starting that not-for-profit organization. It's national. I've done things in every province. And a large part of that also was, trying to help raise money for service dogs. Having one myself and knowing how much rigs saved my life, knowing that there aren't that many out there and there's quite a cost to them, felt like something that I needed to do. I think to date I've raised at least $60,000 for service dogs, and am trying to better the lives of first responders, just one act of kindness at a time. I'm honored to do it.
Today's guest is someone whose story doesn't just deserve to be heard, it deserves to be felt. He served our country in the Canadian Armed Forces, stepping into places most of us will only ever read about. He came home carrying experiences that don't stay overseas, experiences that shape a man long after the uniform comes off. He then continued that service here at home as a sergeant with the London Police Service, a career marked by courage, sacrifice, and moments that would test the strongest among us. But behind the badges and the titles is a human being who has walked through trauma, faced the weight of PTSD, and refused to let it silence him. And walking beside him, every step, every day, is Riggs, his service dog, his partner, and in many ways, his lifeline. Andrew has taken his pain, his healing, and his purpose, and has built something extraordinary. Veterans and Everyday Heroes, a platform dedicated to honoring the people who serve, protect, and sacrifice in ways the world rarely sees. This is a conversation about service, about survival, about the bond between a man and a dog who quite literally changed his life, and about the courage it takes to rebuild yourself when the world thinks you're already strong. It is an honor to welcome to the Full Monty Video Podcast, Retired Sergeant Andrew Gough, and of course, the legendary Riggs. Andrew, thank you.
That was a pretty awesome introduction. Thank you very much.
Well, it's all true, sir. I mean, I've, with my years at the Legion, worked with a lot of vets that have come home and a few with some pretty bad PTSD. Watched some of them progress really well. And I've also done stories in the past and a couple of videos with the military down in Chatham, or not Chatham, sorry, St. Catharines, down at the regiment down there, about soldier suicide.
Okay.
And things that were going on. They had a psychiatrist down there that was doing this, and I was down filming all that for her.
Oh, awesome.
And we talked about soldier suicide and the PTSD, and that was just about the time when more first responders side was coming out. At that time, it was kind of just focused on military and you know, our service people coming home, and just there was nothing there for them.
Yeah, that's
and they
right.
were just turfed. They were, you know, my son was going to go in. He wanted to join. And I told him, I said, look, if you want to join, that, you know, great. But don't come out. Like, stay in there, make that your career, whatever you can. Stay as long, because I said, you'll go do your time, come out, and you're done. Like, they don't care about you. It's so hard. The VA office, like Veterans Affairs, and trying to get stuff for people, it's a nightmare.
It is.
And so anyway, through the Legion and that, we've done a lot of work there. But I wanted to ask you, Andrew, so when you look back at your time in the Canadian Armed Forces, what moments stand out as defining who you are today?
You know, some moments for me, the defining moments for sure, I think come more from the relationships.
Okay.
You know, the people that you meet within uniform service, especially if you have the opportunity to be active, it's I'll call it trauma bonding. You're all put through very similar situations. You're all bound together. Teamwork is necessary. And I have lifelong friends because of the impact of those relationships that I continue after service, because they're my family.
Right.
You know, as far as, you know, events or, you know, things that I was able to accomplish or do, it was all rewarding. It was difficult, but it was all rewarding. And if they didn't medically release me, I would still be there. I loved it.
Oh yeah.
You know, graduating from basic training, I couldn't run a kilometer at 18 years old. I was such a fat piece of, you know what?
Were you really?
Oh yeah.
You were a tubby?
Oh, I was. I'm like, how in the heck?
Oh really?
Yeah, it was something that I wanted, and I knew the changes that I had to make to get there because of I'll call it, like there were failures,
Okay.
right, in physical fitness, and I knew if
Yeah,
I wanted
yeah.
to be a soldier, that had to improve.
Wow.
Right? So, that even just what the discipline that the military provides
Okay.
turned me into so
Yeah.
many other things.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? It's sometimes a problem.
Okay.
Right? There could be a twist in the story, right?
Right. Right.
I did so many different courses of different levels of difficulty. I had the honor of doing a close protection specialty I trained down in the United States in the former Blackwater.
Okay.
And that allowed me to do high risk bodyguarding overseas eventually.
Oh, wow.
Evacuating
Okay.
the embassy in Libya, a defining moment.
Okay.
Right? Yeah, so many brothers.
Now,
So many.
at that time when you're
Yeah.
doing that, say evacuating, your high protection, whatever, at the time you just go, you do it, the call comes, you're in there. But does it ever really hit you later? Like, holy crap, like this could have been it. Like,
So it was like the end of July in 2014 when we finally made the move to evacuate, and we did.
Okay.
Now there was a lot of planning before that,
right.
right? We knew because of how things were progressing over in the country, they were in a state of civil war once again, that the plan may not be able to be executed. We may have to get out here in a moment's notice. So we were prepared for that.
Okay.
But as you're going through that, you're right. It's mission first, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
We had a duty, we had an obligation,
Yep.
and it was to make sure that everyone from that embassy got out safely and back to Canada.
Right on.
And
It's that it how should I say? So a lot of times, even when you come across a major event, it's an accident or something, you just deal with it, you do it, and sometimes it could be days later when all of a sudden it hits you that it could have been a pretty graphic accident or something, right? At the time, you're adrenaline and you just do it.
Yeah.
You just go, right?
as soon as we got to the embassy in Tunisia and we cracked that first beer,
Oh yeah,
dude,
yeah.
like I had never felt such a dump of adrenaline, and I didn't realize how unsafe I felt for such a long time.
Wow, really?
Right. And
Okay.
not that I was in an incredibly safe environment, but it was certainly better than Tripoli, Libya.
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Tunis was relatively safe.
Okay.
And we had a great embassy staff there, and I never slept so well
Really?
as I did that night.
You know what kind of makes me mad is our people that are deployed now, and we as like Canadians, the Americans are always they love their military, and they're always on all the different factions of their military, but ours is so quiet, and we never really get to hear what you guys are up to, like over there, and how dangerous it really is, and that's kept so quiet to us.
Yeah, I don't
understand why. Like our November 11th, I've always said the 2 minutes of silence is nowhere near enough to thank everybody that my dad served at the end of the war, and I grew up. The Legion today is way different than what it used to be, and
Yes.
I as almost a 40-year member now, I've had some high up positions in not just branch level but also in zone, and I don't like where it's going. I just a lot of the current military people now won't even step foot in a Legion anymore.
You're right.
Right?
You're right.
And my bitch to that is, we need you guys that don't want to do this and don't like it anymore. We need you in here to make it back to what it was and what the purpose was, and it was made by vets for vets.
Yeah,
You know?
I belong to a Legion. It took me a while to decide to do that, because I had some preconceived ideas.
Yeah.
Right. And the demographic in there is senior. There's not a lot of young vets.
No.
What the solution is, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's very difficult to get vets on the executive. There's a lot, civilians, and God bless them for caring and wanting to be part of it.
Yep.
But whether it's true or not, because that doesn't matter if it's true,
Yeah.
what it becomes conventional wisdom amongst our younger veterans is that the Legion isn't veteran-centric anymore, that they've lost sight of what the veteran needs.
Yep.
And I don't know, I don't know if that's true. I have no opinion on that. I like being a member. I'll continue to be. But I don't find there's a lot for me to do.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So what I've done, I've been very proud of my time through raising. I was a past Poppy chairman for many years. So my job was organizing the Remembrance Day services and parades. And that was one of the top ones.
That's a big job.
One of the other ones that I really enjoyed, and I did it on branch level up into zone, I was the youth education chairman. So I did all the Remembrance Day posters, the speeches, going to the schools and talking to the kids, and that as a son of somebody that was in the Royal Army Service Corps at the end of the war.
Yeah.
I remember my day taking veterans that were from, of course, Second World War back then, because we had, 30 years ago, we still had quite a few of them around.
Yeah, definitely.
They love going to see the kids. Today, even the schools, we don't have time for that. They don't do assemblies anymore.
No,
and
that's unfortunate.
It's sad. It really is. And then
that's where it begins.
Well, absolutely.
That's where the respect for remembrance begins. But demographics are also changing, where perhaps service like that isn't necessarily as seen as honorable as it is to our generation.
Yeah, no, I know that's true.
And that's sad in itself, because
what generates it, like what's happening right now, we just lost that young man in Hamilton.
Yes.
That just they
just
haven't released what happened, but he was his third year in service, his first deployment, and he's coming home.
Yeah.
Not the way we wanted, right?
Yeah. It doesn't matter how it happened.
It's
still a soldier. It's still someone that
sure
made that decision to go do something for the rest of us.
Yeah.
That his country has asked of him.
Yeah. Yeah.
So my heart to the family and those affected, and the wider Canadian Armed Forces community, because the loss is felt from the newest recruit to the oldest veteran.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And but just what makes me mad personally is just that we never really get to hear more of what our soldiers are doing.
There's a lot of untold stories.
There is. Yeah. And then I and dealing with some people that have come back and what they were going through, it was almost like, and I know some first responders, I know personally police officers that are friends of mine, that it's if you need help, come see us. We're there now. PTSD is huge. They acknowledge it. You go, you talk to somebody, they say, okay, we're going to get you help, and then it kind of just disappears. Yeah. And they're left again wondering, what do I do?
Yep.
And it's been on the increase. Not so much even EMS, but police officers, the suicide there's rising. I just talked to yesterday members of the St. Thomas Fire Department here, and we were talking about PTSD, and I said, who do you think sees more? I said, is it the fire department that deals more with PTSD for some of the tragic stuff they see, or would it be the police officer? And he said, actually, I think it's police officers deal it more, because the fire department gets to leave.
Yeah.
Police officers will have to stay at a scene or whatever until coroner arrives or whatever, and they still have to deal with it.
Sometimes a very long time.
Yeah.
Yes.
So he was, and I think they really got to improve more.
Yeah. Paramedics too. They see everything.
And they're hands-on.
Yeah. And have to deal with grief in a different level.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
yeah, that's something else. But so when you were